Hi, I'm Steve G. Jones, clinical hypnotherapist. I want to tell you a little bit about myself before we get started. I have a bachelor's degree in psychology from the University of Florida, a master's degree in education from Armstrong Atlantic State University, and I'm working on a doctorate in education at Georgia Southern University. I am a certified clinical hypnotherapist, a member of both the American Board of Hypnotherapy and the National Guild of Hypnotists. I'm president of the American Alliance of Hypnotists. I'm the director of the Steve G. Jones School of Clinical Hypnotherapy. I'm also on the board of directors of the American Lung Association in Los Angeles. I have over 2 decades of experience in hypnotherapy. I currently live in Savannah, Georgia, but I see clients and teach classes worldwide. My client base consists largely of people who need to lose weight, stop smoking, or gain some sort of confidence. Other clients include sales teams interested in boosting motivation and increasing income, singles searching for love, insomniacs desiring proper sleep, just to name a few. When I travel to see clients and do hypnotherapy certification classes around the world, I go to such places as Tokyo, Japan, Barcelona, Spain, Paris, France, London, England, Montreal, Canada, Los Angeles, California, and New York, just to name a few. By the way, since you have an interest in hypnosis, perhaps you would be interested in becoming a certified clinical hypnotherapist. It's very easy to do. All you have to do is go to my website, stevegjones.com, and click on Hypnosis Classes at the top. You can either train in person or online. You will then be added to our worldwide directory, and you will receive a certificate. I was fortunate for several years to have an office in Beverly Hills, California, where I worked with such wonderful people as Tom Mankiewicz, the writer of Superman, Geraldine Saunders, the writer of The Love Boat. Recently, I was invited to be on The View with Barbara Walters and Whoopi Goldberg to talk about the powers of hypnosis. And with my over 20 years experience, I'm now happy to share with you techniques which I have both developed and learned about over the years, which I believe can help you improve your life. I encourage you to visit my website, stevegjones.com. There you'll find my life's work. Over 15 books on hypnotherapy, over 250 programming CDs which program your mind to achieve your goals in such areas as weight loss and motivation and stopping smoking. And of course, audiobooks like this one, where I'm talking with you and sharing in a very dynamic way the techniques you can use to make an improvement in your life and the way you do things. And the reason I'm telling you all this is not to impress you, but to impress upon you that your teacher, myself, is very capable, and I know what I'm talking about, and I'm happy to share this information with you. So rest assured you're in good hands, and let's have some fun as we now learn how to do certain techniques in a hypnotic way. I wish you well in your endeavors, and if I can be of further assistance in your journey, feel free to send an email to steve@stevegjones.com. Welcome to Module 1 of the Hypnotic Pickup Method, How to Pick Up Women. And Module 1 is about preparing yourself. I'm Steve G. Jones, clinical hypnotherapist, and I will be your guide, your mentor, your facilitator as you learn how to pick up women. Now, I know that you know some techniques that work, and I know that you know that some techniques don't work and they could use a little revising. And I also know that there are a lot of things that you don't know. And I'm hoping that third category is what you find the most interesting about this course, because the things that you don't know are really what's hurting you right now. Let's face it, you wouldn't have gotten this course if there weren't things that you didn't know, that I know that you don't. So by the end of this course, you're going to know a lot of what I know. I've taken the essence of my knowledge and boiled it down for you so that you will be able to pick up women quickly and easily and often. And if it is your goal, you will be able to meet and attract the woman of your dreams. But whatever you want to do with this information is up to you. And as we go through this information, I will reiterate that
from time to time that your goals are what matter. So it's not what I think should happen or what somebody else thinks should happen with this knowledge. It's what you want. That's what you should get from the course. If you want to have a series of short relationships, that's fine. If you want to find and attract and pick up and lock in the woman of your dreams for the rest of your life, that's fine too. My job is to give you the information that you need to make your dreams come true. So let's look at Module 1, Preparing Yourself. Now, it's important to point out that this course is divided into 6 modules. The first 3 modules are what I would call basic information that anyone should know about dating, things that you should understand, like being confident, dressing right, and so forth. You need to understand those things. Now, modules 4 through 6 are geared more toward hypnotic techniques in particular that you can use to pick up women. So if you just want to go straight to techniques, you can skip over to module 4. If you want the basics, which I do recommend, then go ahead and start here, module 1, the new module 2, the module 3, and then add to your knowledge with 4, 5, and 6 so that you will have a basic knowledge that everyone should have about dating, and then you can add to it those hypnotic, powerful techniques that are going to make the difference between an average dater and an outstanding dater. Module 1. It all starts with confidence. Confidence is the key to everything. If you don't have it, you can't do anything. If you do have it, nothing can stop you. You can do anything you want to do. So confidence is key. Working on your self-esteem is very important. So whether you want to use my hypnosis recordings or you want to find a way to make yourself confident, whatever you want to do, you need to get yourself confident. Why is confidence so important? It's because you have to like who you are in order for women to like you. If you're putting yourself down, whether you're outright saying it or putting yourself down in your actions, women are going to pick up on that. You need to be confident. Confidence shows itself without you even knowing it. It shows itself in body language, in the words you use, and in your attitude. Keep in mind that about 80% or even more of our communication is nonverbal. A lot of what we convey to someone else comes from things other than the words we use. You can be saying, hey, I'm confident, but your body can be saying, hey, I'm not confident at all. So you need to make sure that you are in sync with yourself. You need to make sure that you are saying confident things and that your body is backing you up. So how do you come across as a confident person? Well, first of all, you want to be in the zone. This module is about preparing yourself. Preparing yourself mentally is very important. Think of a time, right now, think of a time when you were confident or you succeeded at something. That's right. And as I'm silent, allow that image to really come into your mind, a time when you were confident. A time when you were confident or succeeded at something. Okay, make it even more vivid now. Pump up the sights, the sounds, the smell, what you felt in your body, your clothing, the temperature of the air. That's right, really make it powerful for yourself now. And now I want you to make the OK sign with your right hand. That's right, touch your right index finger, the tip of it, to the tip of your thumb, your right thumb. Make the OK sign. And say the word power. Good. Now, what have you done? Why did I have you do that? Because I want to start right off the bat with a technique that you can use. You've installed an anchor, so now anytime you need to feel confident, all you have to do is make the OK sign with your right hand and say the word power, and you can reinstall that anchor. How do you do that? You might ask. Well, anytime you feel confident or good about yourself, in that moment, make the OK sign with your right hand, say the word power. That's called stacking anchors. Every time you feel confident, make the okay sign and say the word power. Then it becomes more powerful. So when you need to use it, when you need to fire it off, in the moment, when you need that confidence, all you have to do is make the okay sign and say the word power. And you can say it in your mind if you want. Maybe you don't want to walk up to someone and say, power. This is something you would do before you go into a dating situation anyway, to get yourself in the zone. Okay, so there's a technique that you can use. How else can you exude confidence? Well, you can relax. And I don't mean forcing yourself to relax. I mean really relaxing. Be relaxed. But at the same time, I want you to have good posture. I want you to stand up tall or sit up tall if you're sitting down. That's right. Keep that backbone straight. Believe in yourself. Focus on your positive attributes. I don't care if you think everything's going wrong or you think that there's all kinds of stuff wrong with you. I don't care about that. You shouldn't either. Certain things are just the way they are. Certain things are going to go wrong. Certain things about you, you're never going to be happy with. That's okay. We're not talking about those things right now. I don't care about them. You shouldn't care about them. What we're talking about are those positive things about yourself. Have you forgotten about them? Have you let them go? Have you gotten so focused on the negative things now things aren't going your way that you forgot about them? Well, if you're constantly dwelling on negative things, women are going to pick up on that. They're going to see you in your mind dwelling on those things. You're going to seem self-conscious. You're going to seem as if you're overly occupied in your mind with worry about how am I coming across? Oh, did I say the wrong thing? Oh, should I have done that? Work on letting that go. And you know the best way to work on letting that go? Is to have lots of dates with lots of women. Now, you may be thinking, I just want to have one date with one woman and marry her, and that's fine. If that's your goal, that's fine. As I've said, in this course, take it and make it yours. It's all about you. If I say something and you want to use the course for something else, fine. If you can reach your goals with this information, fine. You don't have to do exactly what I say in the way that I say it. If I'm telling you to date a lot of women and you just want to date one woman because you got this course to land that one woman that you've been after for a long time, that's fine. I'm just going to, basically in this course, tell you what most people would do. Most people dating women are interested in dating a lot of women and then finding the right one. But if you just want to go after that one, that's fine. However, if you're in that category where you want to date a lot of women, I will tell you that is the best way to become confident. That's the best way to become relaxed. If you have a lot of dates, you're going to be more and more comfortable with it. Think about it like driving a car. If you drive a car, then you can remember the first time you drove that car. And you can remember that it probably wasn't ideal. You're probably very non-confident, if that's a word. You were very worried about what was going to happen. I remember my first experience, not my first experience driving a car, which I do remember, but that wasn't quite as poignant in my mind as my first experience driving a car that I bought. It was a car that I bought, and it was in 1985, I believe, and it was a 1984 Nissan Sentra. I was in college, and it was my first car, and I bought it. I paid cash for it. It was used, and it was a stick shift. Now, my parents had trained me to drive their Volvo stick shift, but that was different, and they hadn't trained me a whole lot. They just trained me to the extent that they could put up with my bad driving. But when I bought my car, I had to learn. I learned how to drive that car on the way to the Department of Motor Vehicles, where you go to register the car. That's how I learned. I stalled out about 5 times. I almost caused a few accidents. It was a stick shift. The car was new to me. But by the time I got to the Department of Motor Vehicles, I pretty much knew how to drive it. And a week later, I considered myself an expert at driving that car. So the point is, stick with it. If you stall out, start the car up again. If your date stalls out, so what? There's always the next date. After a certain period of time, and it's different for everyone, but after a certain period of time, you're going to be an expert dater. Now, If your goal is to land the woman of your dreams and you're an expert dater and you're dating women all the time, you may want to reassess where you're going with this, because you may be going in circles. First date, first date, first date, never getting where you want to be, which is a relationship. However, at least starting out, it is advisable to have numerous dates because you're going to stall out. Don't worry, you'll get there where you're going, but you're going to stall out, and you're going to have to try again the next day with a different date. And the next day. And that's okay. It's going to happen. But the way you become confident and relaxed is by practicing. Practice, practice, practice. Always practice. If you find that you're having trouble and you're not feeling confident in a dating situation, the way to handle that is not to run away and never date again. And it's not to try to force yourself to feel confident. It's to get experience. Think about a surgeon operating the first time. Do you think that surgeon is doing his or her finest work the first time? That cut is just perfect? Okay, here's the blade, you try. The surgeon's thinking, oh my goodness, it's my first time doing this. That cut probably isn't going to be perfect. The surgery is probably not going to go perfectly well. But then think about the last surgery of that surgeon's career. Probably goes amazingly well. If challenges arise, he or she knows how to deal with them. Because practice, practice, practice. That's the key. Now, if you're practicing making the same mistakes all the time, that's not going to help. The idea is you will take the information in this course and get better and better. But my point with all of this is it is a numbers game. It is. Dating is a numbers game in many ways. Dating is a numbers game in the sense that you need to date a lot in order to get good at it. Dating is also a numbers game in that you need to date a lot of women in order to meet the one or the few that are right for you. Just because you have all of these hypnotic techniques that you're learning in this program doesn't mean that you're going to meet the perfect woman of your dreams. I want you from now on to think about dating as a poker game. Now, I don't play poker myself, but I've seen poker played on TV, and I have friends who play poker professionally, and they do really well at it. They actually make a living at playing poker. Can you imagine that? Gambling and making a living? That's because when they do it, it's not really gambling. Poker is actually a game of well-timed aggression and skill. There is some luck involved, of course, but it's the same with dating. There's some luck involved, and then there's the skill, and then there's the timing. So when I watch poker on TV, I see about 5 people sitting around a table and a dealer. The dealer throws out 2 cards. I don't know what that type of poker is called. I don't want to guess in case I guess wrong because I'm not a poker player. It doesn't matter. But in this particular type of poker, they throw out 2 cards. Everyone gets 2 cards. And everyone then looks at their 2 cards. And one of 2 things will happen at that point. This is fascinating. This really opened my eyes. When I thought about what to include in the dating course, this really opened my eyes. This is how I can explain dating to someone and make it make sense. One of 2 things will happen when they look at their cards. Either they will continue playing with those cards or they will toss their hand, meaning they will throw their cards back to the dealer. They don't push them back to the dealer or hand them back to the dealer or say, "Here are my cards, dealer. Thank you, but no thank you." They throw them through the air to the dealer and they land right in front of the dealer. They toss their hand because poker players realize there's a lot at stake. They have a lot to offer. They have all these chips that represent money. Sometimes they have stacks of bills, actual money there in their little pile of chips and money. They don't want to risk that for a hand that isn't worthy. If you're dealt a hand in a dating situation that's not the right hand for you, you don't think you can make it happen, you don't think that you can get what you want, you don't think it's worth your time, you don't think it's going to develop into anything, you just, for whatever reason, don't like the cards you're looking at, toss your hand. Give it back to the dealer. Because what happens next? The people who decide to play that round. They either make some money or not. And then the next round comes, and the next hand is dealt. And you get 2 more cards, another chance. Maybe you'll toss that hand, maybe you'll play it. Maybe when you play, you'll win, maybe you'll lose. Maybe you'll win big, maybe you'll lose big. Who knows? But you can decide. The point is, you can decide in a dating situation whether or not you're going to stay in it. You don't have to stay in a date just because you're on a date. Just because this date occurred in your life, you don't have to stay in it. If you get into the date and you realize, wait a minute, I don't want to be here. This is not for me, this person. This is not right. This person doesn't have any of my values. I don't think I can turn this into a winning hand. If for whatever reason you don't feel that it's right, toss your hand. Get out of the date. Get up and leave. Come up with a reason to get out of the date. Come up with a, quote, emergency. So-and-so needs me. I've got to go. Oh, I just realized I have a meeting tomorrow morning. Whatever the case may be, because what's going to happen is you're going to save yourself time and you're going to save them time. There's no sense staying in a date that you don't belong in. Also, when you're first approaching someone, if it's not going well, for whatever reason, toss your hand. Get out. You can make things go well with the information in this course. But why would you force something that wouldn't naturally occur? One of the ideas that I like to get across to people is that you're facilitating a relationship which would naturally occur anyway. You are meeting someone who you're actually compatible with, they just don't realize it yet, and you're facilitating that interaction through hypnotic techniques. And eventually that person's going to realize that, yes, you two are compatible. Now, if you're just looking for a one-night stand, then it doesn't matter if you're compatible or not. You can use these techniques to get what you want, and if that's your goal, that's fine. But if you're in a situation where you're looking for a relationship long-term, and you're using hypnotic techniques, and you realize the only thing propping up this relationship is the fact that you're using these hypnotic techniques, then it's time to toss your hand. Okay, so keep that in mind because you're going to have tremendous power by the end of this course. The hypnotic pickup method is a very powerful method that you can use to get what you want. So keep in mind the power you have and the responsibility and the freedom you have. Don't accept every hand just because the dealer gives it to you. Thanks, but no thanks, dealer. Or, wow, 2 aces. Thank you, dealer. I'm going to play this hand and I'm going to win. Or, more than likely, something in between. There's something that's not a losing hand and not the most powerful hand on the planet, but it's something in between that you can work with. Okay, so keep in mind your possibilities as you use this technology I'm going to teach you. Okay, now I'm going to take you through an exercise that I want you to participate in. I want you to get out a sheet of paper, or you can do this on a napkin if you want, or on a computer document if you want. It doesn't matter. But if you're using a sheet of paper, fold it in half vertically. Somehow divide whatever it is you're going to use in half. So you have a left half and a right half. The left column, and go ahead and pause this recording if you need to settle this up. Okay, the left column is going to be titled positive. The right column is going to be titled needs improvement. One of the things that's really going to help you is a little bit of insight. If you're trying to pick up women and you haven't cleaned your own house, you haven't straightened out your own self, you're going to find it more challenging. I can give you all these techniques. You can skip right over to Module 4 and start using techniques, but they're going to be more powerful if you look inside first, if you take care of yourself first, if you look at things about yourself that could use a little fixing up. Let's face it, if you were having ultimate success all the time in dating, you wouldn't be using this program, would you? Of course not. If I know everything about fixing a car, I'm not going to get a book titled Fixing a Car because I could write the book. I already know all that. Well, if you knew everything about dating, you wouldn't be getting a program called the Hypnotic Pickup Method. You would already know all of that. So you've got to trust me on this one. This process is going to help you. Go through it, reveal some stuff about yourself, and let's build on that. We're not going to look at it as negative. We're going to build on it. Okay, so on the left side, what I want you to do, of course, write all the qualities about yourself that you like that give you confidence. What are those things that you like about yourself that give you confidence? Okay, so as I'm silent now, go ahead and fill up that left side, the whole bunch of stuff that you like about yourself. What makes you feel good about being you? Do that now as I'm silent. Okay, good. Now on the right side, I want you to label it needs improvement. And here I want you to write all of the things that you need to work on. Now here are some things to think about. Personality traits. Maybe you need to work on your sense of humor. Maybe you need to work on your ability to communicate. Maybe you need to work on your motivation. Maybe your confidence. Skills. Maybe you need to work on your athletic ability. Maybe you need to change what you do for a living. Now don't go changing for someone else. Billy Joel song, don't go changing. Don't go changing for someone else. It doesn't make any sense. But if you feel that you need to make a change, that your life needs some improvement, then write it down. If you don't like your job, write it down. If you don't like your career, write that down. If you do, great. Go in the positive column. One more thing for your positive column. What about having interests that you're passionate about? As you think about things that need improvement, do you have interests that you're passionate about? Nothing attracts someone more than a confident person who's passionate about something. Think about the great leaders of this world. They are confident and they're passionate. And look how many people they attracted. Those two things can go a long way. Do you have what the great leaders of this world have? History shows us that that works. What about wealth? Do you have the amount of money that you want to have? If not, put it in the column, needs improvement. There's always more money in this world. It's available. As I am silent, I want you to write this list on the right side. Needs improvement. What areas of your life need improvement? Do that now as I am silent. Okay, got your lists? Good. You can always add to these later. You can always do this again if you want to, but right now we're going to move on. We're going to look at those lists and we're going to make them work for you. Okay, so which of those qualities that need improvement have negatively affected your past relationships with women? Now, maybe you made that list just based on what women told you. You need a sense of humor. You need this. You need that. Maybe that's where your whole list came from. Who knows? Maybe that list is something that you generated, things that you think matter, but maybe they don't. We need to look at that list in more detail. So I want you to circle now, or if you're using a computer document, underline, somehow mark out those items on your list, under the list needs improvement on the right side. Somehow mark out the ones that have actually negatively affected your past relationships with women. Do that now as I am silent. Okay, good. Now, what did you see? As you look at that, what are you seeing? Are you seeing any kind of pattern? Are you seeing any kind of information emerge? Is there anything that's standing out to you that didn't stand out before? Did you circle everything on that list? Did you circle nothing on that list? You probably circled a few things on that list. Are there things there that have negatively affected your past relationships? Okay, now, as I'm talking, look at the positive side. Look at the positive side. Have any of those things affected your past relationships negatively? Is there anything that you consider positive that has actually worked against you? Maybe you consider it positive to not have much money, to have freedom. Maybe you consider it positive to be wealthy. But maybe those things are working against you. Maybe the women you go after want someone with money, even though you consider yourself free, not having to work, not being tied down by the man, having the freedom you need, yet you lack the money that these women are interested in. Maybe you have a lot of money, and you found that you come across as too materialistic, or they're just interested in you for money. So as I'm talking, circle a few things on the positive side, if you see them, that have actually worked against you in the past. Now, there may or may not be anything on the positive side that's worked against you. There should be some things on the negative side that have worked against you. Otherwise, you can cross out the whole negative side and just not worry about it. But get some insight now. Now, which of those things, going back to the right side now, the needs improvement side, which of those things that you circled or marked out are you willing to change? And if your answer is none, well, I don't know that I can help you. If your answer is all of them, then I want to pat you on the back because we can work together. If you're willing to change a few of them, I respect that. I really do. There are things that all of us have that have worked against us in past relationships that we are not willing to change for good reason, because they're part of our moral fiber. They're part of who we are. They're part of our core being. And that's fine, because in the future, you will find a relationship where those things work. Now, it's pretty easy, I think, to target those things that are blatantly obvious that need to be changed. Okay, so poor hygiene, if that's on there and that's worked against you, well, you need to change that. You really do. Swearing excessively, it's worked against you, well, you need to change that. Either that or you need to start dating biker chicks who look for that sort of thing. So you see what I'm saying. You can use some common sense in this and look at that. So focusing on the things that are in the negative column that you need to change, what are you willing to do about them? Realize that here is where you're going to gain a lot of mileage in your dating success. You're going to actually look at yourself and say, hey, I'm willing to change. I'm not going to change who I am, but I'm going to change some things about me that aren't really serving me and that I'm willing to change. What about clothing? What about if that's one of your items? Now, I don't know what your items would be, but I'm going to tell you some from working with people in the past. I used to work with people a lot in Beverly Hills because I had an office there and I worked with a lot of celebrities. And a lot of times people would come in wanting to date women, but they wouldn't say that. They'd say they want business motivation. And then once they're in the office, they'd say, I really want to learn how to pick up women. And so that's pretty much how I developed this course. I had to work with them so much on their secret goals that I came up with this course. So these were a few of the things that I noticed were common among them. They wanted to pick up women, but they were lacking in these certain things. Style. If you don't have style if you don't have style, meaning clothing style, and you're interested in picking up a woman, well, you need to get some help. You need to go somewhere to a store where they will help you. Probably not your cheap retail store, probably slightly better store. Even if you don't buy the clothing at the slightly better store, you can at least get a clue as to what's current. Now, I myself am notorious for not knowing about style and not caring about it. Now, I have kind of made that my style, to not know about it or care about it. If you feel that confident that you can pull that off, then I salute you. I think that's wonderful. However, if you want to bank on the odds and kind of go with the current trends and go with what's probably going to have the most success, then I suggest you get yourself to a nice clothing store and start asking somebody what they think. And if your goal is to attract a woman, I suggest you ask a woman. Don't ask a man what attracts a woman. Ask a woman. How can I change my appearance so that I will be more attractive to women? Which of these clothes that you sell would help me? Now, make sure the woman that you're asking is one that you are attracted to, because that's going to make a big difference. In other words, you're basically asking her, what can I wear that would attract you? And she's going to give you the answer. And you don't have to buy the clothes there if you don't want to. You can go to a less expensive place if you want to, or just carry that knowledge with you the rest of your life wherever you go. But you're going to get the information you need. Okay, what about confidence? If that was on your list of needs improvement, confidence. In order to resolve that, you can either use one of my hypnosis recordings, which will help you boost your confidence. You can also get my Ultimate Conversational Hypnosis course, which has a lot of information about confidence. Or you can simply decide that you're going to be more confident from now on. And the way you're going to do that is by focusing on the positive things about yourself. Focus on what makes you feel good about being you. Focus on your list of positives, the things about you that make you unique and wonderful and special and amazing. Focus on those from now on. What about interests? Maybe you found that you're lacking in passion, that you're lacking in interests, things that interest you. And because of that, you found that you're not an interesting person. If that's the case, which often is, that's why it's on my list, then you need to find something you enjoy and join a club or find out more information about something you can do. You can join a club that goes kayaking or canoeing or sailing, or a club that helps people or cleans up litter or whatever it is. You can find something that you feel passionate about, and don't overlook things because you think they might be silly. You might think that joining a club that picks up trash on the side of the road once a week is silly. It's not. That shows a concern for something beyond you. That is, believe it or not, very attractive to women, that you would actually go out once a week for a few hours and pick up trash because you believe in the environment. You believe in helping your community. You give back. You're not doing it to pick up women, per se. You're not doing it to get acclaim, per se. Then again, you kind of are, because then you can say, oh, I believe in volunteering. I go out once a week and I pick up litter on the side of the road with a group. Or I help the elderly at an elderly home, or I volunteer at a hospital and I read to children, or whatever it is you do. Not only will that potentially facilitate meeting someone that you can date, it will also make you feel better about yourself and give you something interesting to say that you can hopefully become passionate about. Hopefully you will develop a passion for this. You may force yourself to do it initially, that charity work, that volunteer work, but hopefully you'll develop a passion for it, and that becomes your passion. So if you find that you're passionless and there's nothing you can point to and say, yep, I believe in that, that's my passion, then start exploring things which could become your passion. Also, along the lines of boosting your confidence, you need to realize that you do deserve to find that special someone. Many people who will get this course believe that they are not worthy of meeting that special someone. I know that because I've worked with clients for so many years. For over 20 years, I've worked with clients, and I've seen and heard what they have to say. And what they have to say is, almost without exception, on some level, that they do not believe they are worthy of meeting the person of their dreams, that somehow there's something inherently wrong with them that makes them different from everyone else on this planet who has happiness, so that they have to be in a relationship that is less than beneficial, less than perfect, less than wonderful, less than exciting, that is somehow less than. And then that's what they deserve. Well, I'm here to tell you that, first of all, no relationship's perfect, but you deserve something as good as you can get. And you deserve to be with someone who makes you happy, who is wonderful. You deserve a beautiful, wonderful, warm, caring woman. That's what you deserve. And so you need to get that through your head right now. You need to understand that you deserve that just as much as everyone else does. Everyone that you know, oh, Joe, he's so happy. He's got a beautiful woman. They're happy. Well, maybe beautiful woman is not your goal. Maybe just a woman who doesn't yell at you, or a woman who will do things with you. Maybe that's your goal. Oh, Bill, he's got a woman who goes on vacations with him all the time, and she's fun, and she's always in a good mood. There's no difference between you and them. You're both human. The only thing that's different is what you're imagining to be different. You're imagining that they deserve that and that you don't. Let that go. That's all in your head. Another story that may help you understand this is I was recently at a weekend retreat, and there was something there called the Labyrinth. And the Labyrinth is something you can walk through. It takes you about a half an hour. It's a maze. And at the highest point is maybe a foot high, this maze. It's not like these walls are unclimbable 10 feet high walls. It's a maze that you walk through, but it's just kind of drawn basically on the ground. Maybe at its highest point it's a foot high. Maybe at some point the quote-unquote walls are a foot high. But usually they're lower than that, only a few inches high. And you walk through this, and then you get to the center, then you walk back out, and you do some thinking and some meditating. And you're supposed to learn something from the Labyrinth. The thing I learned from the Labyrinth, everyone learns their own thing. The thing I learned from it is that walls are imaginary. We get ourselves into patterns in our lives where we're walking the same place every day, doing the same thing, feeling that we're stuck in the same situation. Well, you can do that in your dating life too. When you're dating women, you can feel as if you're stuck, that you're supposed to date the same kind of woman who's not good for you, that you're supposed to not have fun with the woman that is supposed to not work out. You can get yourself in a negative labyrinth in your mind. What I realized in the Labyrinth is that at any time I could walk out. Even if I was halfway to the middle, I could walk over all of the Labyrinth and walk right out through the gate that I came in. I didn't have to complete the Labyrinth. I didn't have to be stuck in it. So take that lesson that I learned from the Labyrinth, as they call it, and realize that you can apply it in your dating life. Have you been in a pattern where you're dating women who are inappropriate for you, who just aren't right for whatever reason and you know it? Have you been in a pattern where you're dating women who aren't as attractive as the women you want to date, who don't have the job that you want them to have, who don't have the personality that you want them to have? Whatever your situation is, you can change it. You can change it by walking right out of that labyrinth that you created in your mind. You created it. The walls are not really there. They're just imaginary. That's hypnotic. You've programmed yourself. Break out of it. Walk right out. If you're in a date that you don't belong in, toss your hand. Walk out of the labyrinth. So there's no need to settle for anything less than what you want. And with the techniques you're going to learn, you'll be able to get what you want. So, as we're reinventing you as a human, what kind of woman are you looking for? What specific traits are you looking for? You know what I've found fascinating over the years is that when people make lists, those lists come true. If you're making a list about what you want, those things are going to come true for you. If you write, I want a new car, I want a new house, I want a new boat, I want a new woman, whatever it is you want, if you write it down, you're going to get it. Now, I'm not talking about writing it down and throwing it away. Okay, Steve G. Jones, I did that exercise, I wrote it down, now I'm going to crumble it up and throw it in the trash. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about writing it down and putting it in a place where you can see it. You know, when I want something, what I do, and I invite you to do the same thing, I write it on my bathroom mirror. I have a big bathroom mirror. I have a double sink in my bathroom and a big mirror. And I write on it with a Sharpie, a black marker, indelible ink. Don't worry, it's not indelible. You can wipe it right off with a wet towel. Sharpie will wipe right off of a mirror. But I write on there exactly what I want, whatever my goal is, whether it's financial or relationship or whatever it is. I write on there what I want. And if I want to change something, let's say I want a different car, I write the old car and I draw a line through it. Then I draw an arrow to the new car that I want. If there's a situation that you want to change, write out what the negative thing is that you don't want. If you're with someone and you don't want to be with that woman, write out her name on the mirror. Now, if you're living with her, don't do this. Write it on a piece of paper and keep it hidden somewhere. But if you're in a situation where you can do this and you have some freedom and you're not living with the person, then you can write out their name. Write her name on the mirror. Cross it out. Then write the name of the person you want. Maybe you don't know that name yet. Maybe you just know some traits you want. Maybe you can write the traits that she has and cross them out. Write the traits that you'd rather see in a woman. Okay, so what you're going to find is that your list is going to come true. That's the wonderful and scary thing about lists. When you write it down, you're going to get it. That's always been true for me. Everything I've ever written down, I've gotten because I become focused on it, because my mind is so programmed to being programmed. I'm so accustomed to hypnotizing myself that I have no choice. My subconscious mind is used to being programmed. So I program myself. I take control of what I want by showing my subconscious mind every day when I brush my teeth. I see it. Oh, yeah, that's what I want. Oh, yeah, that's what I don't want. That's gone. I see that, and I'm moving toward this. Your subconscious mind becomes hypnotized. You get what you want. Now, you don't get that if you just write it down and throw it away. You get it if you write it down and look at it every day. I remember hearing a story about the actor Jim Carrey, who wanted to make a bunch of money. I think it was $10 million or something. He wrote himself a check, and he dated the check, and he looked at it all the time. And one day, he made a movie, and he got that amount of money, the money that was on that check. Now, you might think, well, of course, he's a great actor. He's amazing. That's why he got that. Well, he didn't start out that way. He didn't start out as a great actor. He started out as a regular person, and he invented himself to be a great actor because he focused on that. If you focus on something, you're going to get it. The way to focus is to write something down. So we get back to the question, what are you looking for? What are you looking for? Why are you doing this program? What are you after in a woman? So, obviously, what I want you to do right now is open a new document on your computer or get a new napkin wherever you are or get a new piece of paper and write down what you're looking for in a woman. Does she have to be smart, funny, interested in the things you're interested in? Does she have to love dogs? Does she have to come from a good family? Does she have to have certain goals? Does she have to be warm and caring and loving? Does she have to like to party? Does she have to have gone to college? Does she need to be honest? Does she need to be attractive? What are you looking for? What are you after? Until we know the target, we can't shoot at it. If you think you know what you're after and you're shooting arrows off into the distance in a field and toward a house, just randomly shooting arrows, well, what are you shooting at? You're just shooting for the sake of shooting. Same thing with dating. If you don't know what kind of woman you're looking for, you're just dating for the sake of dating. You don't even know what you're after. So your subconscious mind knows, but you consciously need to know also, and you need to make it more real for you. Not only do you need to know what you're after, but you need to know that it's now time to pull it out of your head and make it real. It's time to see that woman. Pull that woman right out of your head. Isn't that a weird concept that she's in your head? But she is. Everyone you've ever met in your life, you created. You didn't create them from molecules that you assembled. You brought them into your life because you knew what you were looking for. Every car you've ever had, every home you've ever owned, every relationship you've ever been in, you created it. You created it by focusing on it. That's what you got. Now, if that's not really what you wanted, you could have taken charge of that. You just didn't know that then, but you know it now. Pull out of your mind what you want. Put it down on a paper or a document or a napkin. I don't care what you write it on, but put it down right now, exactly in detail what you want, as I am silent. So take a look at that list. Take a look at those things that you do want and realize that those are the things you should focus on. If you're living alone and you're dating, why not go ahead and write those on your mirror? Why not go ahead and make them real? At least keep them with you. Don't let go of this piece of paper, or this document, or this napkin, whatever you put it on. Make it real for you. Focus on those things. And now what I want you to do is, with another document or piece of paper or napkin or the reverse side of that piece of paper, I want you to write down the things that turn you off, the things that are deal breakers, the things that you will not put up with. You don't want them in a woman. Write down those things. It could be smoking, arrogance, negativity, anything goes. Or maybe those things are things you like. Who knows? This is your list. Write down things that turn you off about a woman. Do that now. Okay, good. Now you know what you don't want. So as you think now about past relationships, were some of these things showing up on a regular basis? Some of these things you didn't want? How about the things you did want? The other list you made, were those showing up? Okay. As I'm silent, what I want you to do is rank these lists from 1 to 10. So on the list of things you do want, number 1 is the thing that you really, really want. Number 10 is the thing that, it'll be great to have it, but not necessary. If you have more than 10, then just keep numbering. On the other list, number 1 is the thing that you really, really don't like. You would never tolerate that in a woman from this point on. And number 10 is the thing that you don't like it, but you could put up with it. And if you have more on your list, then keep numbering. But go ahead and do that now as I'm silent. Number these lists in order of priority to you. Okay, good. Now you have something that you can focus on. So what do? Well, from now on, when you see those negative things in a woman, when you're dating, you know that you have a situation on your hands. If she has the number 1 thing that's on your deal breaker list, it's time to toss your hand and get out. Start using just common sense. Just start applying it. We can block our common sense by not feeling confident. We can bypass our common sense when we feel that we're not good enough. Maybe they have this thing that we consider awful, but we put up with it because we don't think anyone else is going to come along. Unless you're living on an island by yourself, someone else is going to come along. It's inevitable. It's going to happen. Whether you live in Siberia or Alaska or the North Pole or the South Pole, as long as there's a village there, people are going to come along. There's going to be another woman. You don't have to accept things that are number 1 on your I don't want this list. Number 1 on your turnoffs, number 1 on your deal breaker list. If that shows up from now on, toss your hand, get out. The next bus is coming along. The next train is coming along. There will be another woman. Trust me. There are a bunch of women in this world. There are more every day. It's just the world keeps producing women. There's no shortage of women. I've never seen on the news national shortage of women, international shortage of women. It doesn't happen. There's a surplus. There are all kinds of women out there. At this very moment, probably thousands or tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of women who fit your exact criteria. Any one of them could be your ideal woman because they're all just right for you. Is that amazing? Do you find that startling? Did you think that there's one perfect woman out there, your perfect soulmate? Well, maybe there is. But I'm here to tell you, having studied statistics and probability, there are probably a bunch of them who have the exact qualities that you want. They're out there. You just haven't met them yet because you haven't been really focused on meeting that type of woman. So start focusing. Focus on women who have the qualities you want and avoid the women who have the qualities that you don't want. Okay, so your homework is very simple. I just want you to study your lists. I want you to study these lists. You have made a list about yourself, things that are positive about you, and things that need improvement. You made a list about women, things that you like and things that you don't like. I want you to meditate on those lists. That doesn't mean you have to light a candle and sit in a dark room with your eyes closed and your legs folded and chant Om. No, that's not what meditation means. Meditation means just relax and focus. Clear your mind, get in a quiet place, clear your mind, and take a good, honest look at these lists. Are you willing to change yourself? Are you willing to improve upon yourself? Meditate on that when you look at the list of things that need improvement. Are you willing to celebrate who you are? Meditate on that when you look at the list of positive things about yourself. Are you willing to allow yourself to feel good, to give yourself credit for who you are? Of course you are. So do that as you meditate on that list. Then when you look at the list of things that you want in a woman, are you willing to go after women who have those qualities? Of course you are. Meditate on that. Imagine yourself approaching them. That's self-hypnosis. Imagine yourself approaching women who have those qualities that you want. What about the negative list? Imagine yourself saying, thanks, but no thanks, when you realize that they have your number 1, 2, or 3, or all of the above negative qualities that you don't want. Imagine yourself saying, I think I'll pass, in your mind. So what I want you to do is meditate on all of these things. Your positive qualities, celebrate them. Things you need to change, focus on changing them. The list of things you're looking for in a woman, see yourself with a woman with those qualities. The negative things, see yourself saying, thanks but no thanks, and getting out of that situation. That's your homework. I invite you to do your homework and have fun. And then once you've done it, join me in Module 2, where we're going to talk about getting a date, and we're going to talk about the first date. We're going to take this and turn it into action. I'm Steve G. Jones, clinical hypnotherapist, hoping you have an outstanding day.